Okay, so after a lot of hard work and dedication and a lot of failures and a lot of struggles and a lot of overthinking consistently, I decided that the live streaming process, the more I thought about it, the more I attempted it, it just was not the right tactic for what I wanted this show to be. And I think now, after streaming for multiple times, one, I found out that it wasn't the right platform. Like, YouNow just wasn't the place to do it. And it wasn't so much of the fact that I wanted to live stream either. That was never really the real intention of it, but that was the only way I can see what the target audience was and get my feet actually in the water of that platform. You know, I did only do this for a couple attempts, but it kind of got me thinking a little bit more on what I used to do in the past, as far as interview bands and stuff like that, and just hang out with them online. And I liked the idea of that, but something was still missing. And what I've really narrowed down, and I took some serious time in consideration, a lot of thought and a lot of beating myself up into thinking about this and trying to figure out what the best way to approach the entire situation would be. And no matter what it is I do, I think it boils down to one essential thing. And that's just the fact that I like to be the shoehorn to help people get into their new shoes in whatever they want to do professionally in life, regardless if they're just starting out or if they are already in a beginning process and just want to build up from there. I think this is a really good approach for me because I love to coach people to start off with. I love mentoring people and I love training people, and I simply just like helping people. And that's something I've always wanted to figure out. How do I do this with my life? How do I manage to start somewhere and just build up from it? I didn't know what it was. It all fell down to the exact same little focal point, and it just came down to everything I do is all about helping people, but I am not helping people the way I really wanted to. And so I really believe now, at the point in time, after really narrowing this down, I think I came to the conclusion finally that the brand identity is supposed to be exactly that. It is supposed to be boiled down to the point of how can I help other people as much as I can? But then that thought alone also really overwhelmed me, and I was just like, I can't do this again. I can't burn myself out and having people consistently come to me and be like, I want to be on the show, I want to be on the show, I want to be on the show. And I've had that in the past, not for this specifically. As great and wonderful as it feels that people are really hyped out about it, it was burning me out in the long run. I wasn't giving the full production quality that I wanted. I don't think I really even knew what it was at the time because I didn't plan anything. I was just, hey, here's an idea and let's just do it. All these thoughts that I'm also mentioning to you guys right now too, a lot of them are from like me personally, but a lot of it had to do based upon like talking to other people. I had to talk to Paul a little bit more about this because I was a little unsure in certain things and certain directions of how I could go about this on a more professional scale, just for me as an individual, and then obviously in the long run tried to incorporate this some way into, you know, hopefully maybe one day these people that I'm going to be planning on working with and helping them on their own personal customer journey on whatever it is they want to, you know, grow in and make money in the long run, obviously, is the goal. But Paul really helped me try to identify more of the sales portion of everything, more of the marketing strategies for everything, how to get my questions in line, and to really strategically and organize everything I need for the back end of what I'm going to do. Because I want this process and this series to be more than just me helping other people. I want people to see, obviously, what I want people to see in correspondence to how media is supposed to be, but I want it a little bit more than that. I want people to understand how much time and effort really goes into these things. And so that's why I'm going to be showing a lot more of the technicalities of everything. I want to show what actually happens in the back end of stuff. I want to show people what happens in the middle and what happens in the end. And that process, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of months, it could be a couple of years. I don't know. It just depends on the individual. What I decided to do is take that information, because that's where I go to Paul. Paul's my coach, my leader, my mentor for how am I going to phrase everything properly and professionally for the marketing side, for the sales side, so I can get the information I need and then kind of scope out even further into, the information and anything else I just need in general. So like that's where he came into play, and it was really, really helpful. And then I also reached out to a good friend of mine as well, and I reached out to him because he is, in my opinion, he's a phenomenal graphic design artist. Also being a content creator, I like to poke his brain about the thumbnail creations and everything. And we had a conversation about that yesterday, and I came up with a design for the very first thumbnail for the show. I've never heard him say this before, but he's like, "This is the best thumbnail I have seen you create to date." That actually really, really meant a lot to me, and I didn't realize like that level of encouragement that I actually really needed to not only do this work, but also the level of encouragement where people are really just, they can be on board with the idea that I have to create this show, but it's more about the fact that they understand what I'm trying to do to help other people, but they're just simply also there because they appreciate me as a person and, as either as an acquaintance or as a really good friend. But I've realized how much I really thought I needed to do all this on my own. I thought the idea that I had, the fact that this was like my idea, I need to do everything by myself, but I keep forgetting for some reason that I can't. I don't think that's really possible. It's not really the way I work either. I need a good collaboration. So between working with Paul, between working with my friend, between even discussing this whole idea that I had with my wife and talking about it to another online friend of mine as well who helps out whenever they can, between all of them, they've given some really, really good feedback. They not only gave me feedback on what I wanted to hear, but also what I didn't want to hear. And I think that was probably the most important piece of information that I actually did receive, because I do need a little bit of that criticism. I do need a little bit of that, like, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but like this isn't gonna work. This just isn't good yet. Keep refining it. But what I'm getting at is that after defining all this so much, I finally figured out what the brand identity is going to be. It is going to be kind of shot in a sense of a docuseries almost. This idea was brought up by the very first guest that I am having on the show. It is going to be a multi-part series. See where he is right now, kind of get into, the very bare bone basics of everything, and then we will real time hopefully be able to see him continue to grow and being able to see what his struggles are and to see what the complications are, what's setting him back, what's making him potentially feel like, I don't know if this is actually the right direction. I wanted to bring in the sensation of realism into this, the sensation of the real emotional value that goes in all the blood, sweat, and tears of the work that people really put into to accomplish what they really want. But my first guest, I'm really, really happy about. I've known him for years. I've helped him out with a lot of different things in the past when we were both a little bit younger, and up till today where he's building brand new amazing things and a lot of new projects coming up. I don't even know what the projects are just yet. He's keeping this a bit of a secret because knowing him, and he knows me very well, that I will also be very excited not only about the project, but the fact that he is attempting that project. He's come a very long way, and I am very, very proud of him. I'm really excited to show you guys what the series is going to be like, but this is going to be a brand new style of video that I've never attempted before. There will be more video than just existing within my office here, my studio. I do plan on going to another location and hopefully multiple locations to film this. Obviously not just me talking, but the guest as well, which you will have to stay tuned to see who that actually is. I wanted to create this video kind of just in lieu of what is actually happening and what is expected to come your way. This is where I'm going to leave everything off. To recap, I'm very excited of where I currently am with the ideas and the passions and the overall emotions I have officially towards this project. There was a lot of self-doubt about it. I was starting to kind of beat myself up a little too much about it. So to anyone who has helped me thus far to get to this point where I am, thank you guys so much. I can't wait, honestly, to get started on filming this. The level of anticipation is the same feeling of like me going back on stage and playing guitar and singing on an actual stage for people in front of a ton of people. And I have like that pre-game like nerves. Like I feel like I have to do like jumping jacks and like push-ups to kind of get all that extra energy out of me. And it's interesting because I haven't felt that way in a long time about a project. But I'm gonna leave it off there. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. But until then, I'll see you guys when I start filming this experience. So, see you later.